Welcome to Duality Gamecast. Today's episode, Colt Express.
Welcome to Duality Gamecast. I'm Matt.
I'm Dylan.
And I'm William. Today we're taking a look at Colt Express. Colt Express is a program movement game where you run around on a three-dimensional train trying to collect the most amount of money. At the beginning of the game, each player is going to pick a character. They'll have unique special abilities noted here on their player cards. Then you're going to randomly determine first player. After that, each character is going to draw 6 cards, which I have here. And you're going to flip over the first turn marker. Now each turn is broken up into multiple rounds. This one here is broken up into 4 rounds. I don't know if you can see it here. There's 3 rounds that are normal and 1 round that you're in a tunnel. So on a player's turn, they get allowed to do one of 2 actions. Either play a card from their hand or draw 3 more cards from their deck. So Django here is going to play a card from his hand. Notice it goes face up. Then Doc goes next. Then the next character. And then the next character. Now everyone here's played a card, so we're done with this round. We move on to the second one. This one's in a tunnel, so everyone's going to play their cards face down. Then we move on to the next round, where players are going to play cards from their hand. We continue that until everyone has played or taken 4 actions. Then the first player is going to take the deck, flip it over, and start resolving cards from the top and see what happens. All right, everyone's played their cards. First players flip the deck over. We're ready to start revealing them and seeing what actions we all take. So we'll start with Django here. Django shoots. So when you shoot, if you're below deck, you can only shoot people in adjacent cards. So Django's going to shoot the Doc here. Let's move him over. Django's special ability is when he shoots people, they get knocked back 1 spot. Oh, he's already on the board bleeding. Woo! All right. When you shoot people, you also give them one of your bullet cards. This is important because at the end of the game, whoever's used up the most of their bullet cards will get an extra $1,000, and it helps you win. All right, let's see what the next action is. Next up is Doc. Doc was gonna loot. This lets you pick up loot that's in your area, but he's been moved to a cart now because he got shot with nothing in it. So he doesn't get to do anything on this round. Let's see. Tuco's gonna climb upstairs. So now once you're up here, you can move around a lot freer, and it just gives you a whole other level of movement. Let's see. Oh, Bell moves the Marshal. So the Marshal is right over here. He doesn't move on his own, but you can kind of chase him around the board and mess up other players. He's going to move here into this area. Now let's see. Oh, Django, he's going to loot. He's going to take this money and put it right here. He's allowed to look at it. Ooh, that's good, but no one else can. Doc. Doc was going to steal a bunch because he was in this cart with all the money, but it's empty now because he's been moved over to this empty one. So he gets nothing. Oh, the Marshal's going to move again. All right. So Tuco's going to move the Marshal over here. Whenever you move into an area or the Marshal moves into your area, you get moved to the top, and you take a generic bullet, basically, and he gets put in your deck. So what's going to happen is over multiple rounds, when your deck fills up with bullets, you're going to have less actions on your turn. Oh, Bella's going to rob. See, she was smart. She stayed where she's supposed to be. Let's see here. Oh, Django's going to run. He's going to move 1 space here, I suppose. Doc shoots. Oh, hey! He probably thought he was going to be shooting people in the cart next to him, but you know what? It worked out. There's someone up here, so he's going to give his top bullet. Sorry, I'm doing this the wrong way. To Tuco here. So now, at the end of the game, they're both tied. If this is in the game right now, they both get an extra $1,000. But he shoots him, giving him the bullet. And let's see how this all resolves out. You can't shoot people in your area, so she can't shoot Django. And the only other people in adjacent areas is the Marshal, and you can't shoot him, so that card has no effect. And finally, Doc runs. He runs to the front. So now we resolved all the cards that play this round. You can see people got shot, people got messed up, people stole money. But at the end of this turn, there's a special action. And this is, I think it's called a swing bar. Basically, it moves everyone who's on the top to the back of the train. All right, so now basically what's going to happen is everyone's going to take their cards, you're going to put them back in their decks, shuffle back up, deal 6 cards, reveal the next round marker, pass first player to the left, and start playing. So after 5 of these turns, whoever has the most money is the winner.
So Colt Express, a game for 2 to 6 players from Asmodee.
let's talk about how this game plays.
Fun. I don't know. I mean, that's a really short word for it. It's quick. It's easy. It's a program movement game that, at least with smaller groups of players, you don't get that same like Robo Rally thing where you just get messed up and everything's horrible. I mean, you might have a turn that something feels like that, but if you're shooting and punching, someone's probably around you to get shot or punched, so you don't feel completely bad if you don't get lined up the way you want. But there's still a little bit of like the marshal can mess people up. Punching people knocks them back a car, so you can still kind of mess up people's movement. But your end goal isn't to get to one particular spot; it's to pick up loot and shoot people along the way. So it's kind of an aggregate of all your turns. So one mistake, one little thing doesn't set you off where you fall off a cliff or something. You never get knocked off the train. There's no player elimination. It's clean. It's light. It's something that anybody I feel can pick up. It plays quick.
Yeah, for sure. I've played a couple other programming games. Robo Rally is the one that immediately comes to mind. And that game, once your programming got knocked off course, it was pretty savage.
Yeah.
It was really hard to recover. And it was a lot longer game in general, too. There's that other game. What's the one where the
Seven Dragons?
The kids are building this bridges across the water?
I can't remember what that one's called.
River Dragon.
River Dragon.
There you go.
Thank you. That game felt a little more take that-y to me.
Yes.
Than this game. This game does have a little take that, but not a lot. You can shoot at people. I really like that the mechanic where you shoot at someone, you hand them a bullet, it goes in their deck, it makes it just kind of slows them down a la some deck building game.
Yeah.
It just kind of makes it harder for them to get to the actions they want to get to. I love that everyone has player abilities. I don't know if they're all balanced super great.
It seems like some of them maybe work better with more players than others do.
Right. I played Belle in her last session, and her ability is if she's targeted with a shot, pistol, or a punch, if there's another valid target, they have to target the other valid target. Which I thought, this will be good. But it was a smaller group, so I think she's definitely going to shine more. Whereas Doc gets 7 cards, which is card advantage, which if you're a gamey gamer, you know that's good anytime. So his thing is good all the time.
It's not as flashy, but it's probably the most solid of all the abilities.
I've also played Tuco, who can shoot up or down, which normally you can't do that. So he can shoot people on the roof, or if he's on the roof, he can shoot down. I thought that would be awesome too, but again, I think maybe that's more of a bigger player count ability. But that's not a huge... None of their abilities wreck the game.
No.
At all, which is good. Gameplay I thought was smooth and fast. I think it took us as long to build our train as it did to play the first game. How are you feeling about this?
You know, this is actually the first programming game I've ever played.
Well, you played River Dragons.
Well, River Dragons was a little bit less random.
Yeah, I guess.
You always had your cards.
Yeah. Nothing special about it. Not really, but it was good. It was functional. I liked everything about the gameplay.
Okay.
Well, and that's something that bringing up the River Dragons thing is you have a deck of cards. Was it 10 cards is what it was?
Yeah.
But you're drawing 6. So unlike a lot of program movement games, I guess Robo Rally's kind of the same way, right? You're getting random stuff dealt to you. But this one, like, it's not like you're like, here's my character, let me program what I want him to do. You might be the shooter person, or that might be what your goal is, but you don't draw any shoot actions this round. Or you might be like stuck on the top, and something's going to happen to people onto the top of the train, and you don't get any climb down actions this round. So there's a little bit of, this program movement, there's a little bit of like dealing with whatever comes up. You might have to change, each round you're going to have to change your strategy based on what you have. Now you can pass one of your programs to draw 3 cards.
Yeah.
I was stubborn. I almost never did that. One time I did is when I had, my hand was more bullets than, so I had to take a draw in order to get an actual card to play. But I always felt like that was a waste of a turn, but that's just my attitude towards it, I think. So it seems like because of the random draw, it adds a little bit more kind of seat of your pants action to this than maybe some other games. Because you're usually programming between 3 and 4 cards. So you draw 6, especially at the beginning of the game, you don't have any bowls or anything like that. There's 4 cards left in your deck. I mean, it's possible that it's going to be all the things you want in there. But at the beginning, usually you can kind of get off what you want. It's after you've been shot a few times and your character's kind of limping around that you start having more troubles, which is thematically appropriate. But I could see it. Like, I know a couple rounds where near the end I was like, well, it says if you're on top, you're going to take point of damage at the end of the round, and I don't have any down cards, so I'm just going to have to try to maneuver and make the best of the situation I can right now. I can see it frustrating, but it also gives you a lot of play opportunity to try to play around basically what the game throws you.
Yeah, I felt in general that there were a lot of neat, different things going on in this game, but they managed them all so that nothing was super swingy. So there's a lot of loot spread through the terrain of varying amounts, but nothing's a huge shift. And you can kind of change gears. So like one game we played, I was doing horrible, but I finished the game with the strong box, which starts in the engine car. And so I didn't win, but I was a lot closer than I felt like I was going to be because that strong box is worth a lot more money than the other loot. Some other things is there's an ability at the end, or an effect at the end of each turn or round. Usually there's an effect, and it could be, when it goes off, it could be bad, but it's really targeted, so it's real easy to avoid. So there's lots of things going on, but nothing's gonna just like break your game or break the game for one person. I didn't think you could get totally shafted in this game. The only way that might happen is just a huge string of bad luck, really. Most of the game, you should feel like you're participating and competing.
I believe so, yeah.
All right, so let's talk about, I think what was probably the bigger eye catcher for this game when it debuted, the art and component quality.
Well, start with, it has three-dimensional little train cars.
Yeah.
That is awesome. They made them, I think they made them just the right size, too. If they were any smaller, it'd be really hard to get your cowboy meeples in and out of them.
Yep.
Any bigger, and the train, like in a 6-player game, the train would be like 10 feet long. So I think size-wise they got it just right. You can stack guys in here. Everything goes well. I know we had a little bit of trouble putting them together that we were almost damaging them, but that's more of our big clumsy hands than the actual component problems for
Being
it.
too excited.
The Cowboys have a cool little silhouette. They're not just a normal meeple. They actually have their little pistols out. I really like the kind of cartoony comic booky art they have on everything. It's really consistent. Everyone's cards that they have, all their different actions are actually drawn. It's not just a picture of the character with an up arrow. It's actually a picture of the character doing that action. So you actually, when you're looking at it, it's cool. Like, you don't even have to read the icon. That, like, she is literally punching you in the face in this card. I don't know if you can see it or not. Looking at this card, I don't have to read the little black icon in the corner. I can just look at it like, oh, she's punching me. Okay, that's my punch card. So all that was good. Overall, I'm really satisfied with the art and components for it.
I am too. One thing I'll add to what you said was everything's color-coded. Every player has their own color, which goes with their meeple. And with the exception of the meeples, it's completely colorblind friendly because there's images of your characters on your card. So all your cards for Tuco have a picture of Tuco on them. So yeah, he's the red player, but you know which cards are his because he's on them. So that was really thoughtful, I thought. The price point of this game really isn't bad. I think it was like $39.99.
Wow, really?
Yeah, so you're getting this awesome 3D train, all the cards, the player boards, the meeples, the treasure tokens, for what is these days becoming a lower in price for board games, it seems like, especially deeper board games. And it was very thoughtful construction. The box is designed to hold your 3D train. You don't have to dismantle this train. So we've built our train and we're good. So we don't have to really probably worry about it breaking now. Because it would be, if we had to dismantle it, we would break.
Yeah, the pieces would be destroyed. Because, I mean, that's one thing. So you're saying, putting it together was a little tough. We bent a couple of the little pieces. It still works fine. I know when we were first playing stuff together, I know Dylan was really weird. He's putting together the engine. And the first half of it, like, nothing was holding together. It was just falling apart. But by the time you assemble everything, they're pretty sturdy. Most of the stuff is, like, slotted and grooved into other things with multiple pieces. And the only way for any of this stuff to come off is for these two top pieces to be taken off. The only way they can come off is by pulling them up. So there's no way that under its own power, this car is gonna fall apart. You have to actually pull these pieces off, pop this out, pop this other piece off, slide this piece, or pull this pin out. Like they assemble it so they're actually pretty sturdy. I mean, you can feel it shake a little bit, but when you're playing about it, you're never to the point where like, oh, it fell over, oh, it fell apart, I have to reassemble it. You don't get any of that. It's solid.
Another really thoughtful sort of value-added thing they did was on their punch boards for the pieces, they put terrain that they didn't need. It's not relevant to the game except for theme. So you've got mountainscapes, cacti, bull skulls, what have you. And I think he said in the rules, literally set them up with the setup, right? So it doesn't affect the game at all, but it's this awesome thing. They had room on their punch boards. They made you some terrain. I think that's real thoughtful. It's thematic. And it's what makes this like just that extra value-added boost.
Right, because that's what it did, is it added what this game is, which is all about this cool 3D terrain. It added, the little cactus for you to go speeding by. And yeah, that just adds more.
Yeah.
And it's something that you don't see in a lot of games. I mean, a lot of games will have like the first player marker will be some little funny thing. They went ahead and made it like this has no game value in terms of mechanics or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's basically extra art that you get to have in your game, and that's just cool because you can actually, I can see if you have the space, you could set this up somewhere and just kind of leave it out as a cute little like fun thing to have, and then you're like, hey, want to play a game? Just sit down and play it, pick right back up. You can even leave everyone where they're at in the game and be like, here's the last scene we had. It's kind of cool.
Very cool.
Alright, so I'm going to give this game a love it. I think it's the third best Western game. It goes Bang, High Noon Saloon, and then this. I think the components are nice. I really love the art. This is a pain to put together, but it's still pretty cool as a game board. And I've never played a programming game before, but it really worked for this, so love it, yeah.
It is a miracle. Me and Dylan agree on something. This game is definitely a 11 for me. It's probably the most fun I've had with a program movement game. The components add so much to it, and just the overall fun factor, you really do feel like you're running around trains shooting and punching people. So love it.
One of my favorite genres for board gaming is a Western theme. Anything from Bang to Spurs to Dice Town, except for Carson City. That's not a good game. I really love the Western theme, and I love that we have this new game to add to that. It's program movement, which you don't see a whole lot of, but it's not like merciless beatdown program movement. It's a lighter game, but still a little meatier than a filler. Fills a lot of niches. Definitely for a higher player count, I'm going to give this a love it. I might downgrade that to a like it for a smaller group because I think you're going to see more action and have more fun with that big group. But I'm going to go with a love it.
So Colt Express really changed my mind about program movement. Let me know in the comments below what a good program movement game is. I want to give them a try. Thanks to all these people for helping us out. Don't forget to click on me to subscribe. Cut.